Tips to improve your English pronunciation. Pause the video to repeat phrases or words. Record your voice and compare it with the video. Actively listen, identifying familiar words or phrases. I was tired of making the same mistakes every time I tried to speak English, and it felt like my mind would shut the door right in the middle of a sentence. I would begin with a simple idea, then stop, because the next word vanished and my throat got tight. When I practiced alone at home, I sounded better, but in front of people I froze and felt embarrassed. Even small situations, like answering, "How are you?" or asking for directions, made my heart race. After so many attempts, I felt frustrated, like I was running hard but never moving forward. At school and online, I watched people who seemed to learn English fast, and I compared myself to them without meaning to. They spoke with smooth sentences and relaxed faces, as if English was easy and natural in their mouths. I listened to them and thought, they don't even pause, while I paused all the time and lost my courage. The more I compared, the smaller I felt, and the more I wanted to stay quiet and avoid practice. Sometimes I stayed silent on purpose, not because I had nothing to say, but because I feared being wrong again. One evening, I opened my notebook and played an English audio, but the words started to feel boring and heavy. I repeated the same phrases again and again, yet they did not feel real, and my motivation fell quickly. I closed the notebook, stared at the wall, and thought about quitting, because quitting felt easier than failing. I told myself, maybe English is not for me, and that thought made my chest feel tight and sad. I wanted progress, but I was tired of feeling stuck in the same mistakes every week. Still, a small part of me did not want to give up, because I remembered why I started learning in the first place. I wanted to travel, meet new people, understand movies without subtitles, and have better chances in the future. I also remembered small wins, like understanding a song line or catching one clear sentence in a video. Those moments were short, but they gave me hope, like little lights in a long hallway. So I made a quiet promise to myself. I would keep trying, but I needed a new way to practice. That night, I changed my goal from perfect English to brave English, because perfect was scaring me too much. I decided I would speak even with mistakes, and I would learn from each awkward moment instead of running away. I wrote a simple plan: practice short sentences daily, talk to myself, and use English in small real situations. I didn't know how long it would take, but I knew I still wanted to improve, one step at a time. And deep inside, I hoped something would happen to show me that English could open doors I couldn't see yet. I met the person in the most normal place, a small coffee shop near my house, right after school. I was waiting in line, thinking about my English plan, when I heard someone ask, "Excuse me, do you speak English?" I turned and saw a tourist holding a phone with a map, looking worried but polite. My first feeling was panic, because my brain screamed, "Not now, you will freeze again." But I remembered my promise, so I swallowed my fear and said, a little, "Yes, I try." The tourist showed me the screen and said he was looking for a museum in the city center. He spoke fast, but I caught key words like museum, bus, and today, so I focused on those. I pointed outside and tried to explain with simple English, using my hands to help my words. I said, "You go straight, then turn left, and you take bus number 10, even if my grammar felt shaky." He listened closely, nodding, and that made me feel less nervous with each second. Then he asked, "How long does it take to get there?" And my mind almost went blank again. I wanted to say, "It takes about 20 minutes, but the words got mixed in my head. I tried anyway and said, "It takes 20 minutes to arrive," and it sounded strange to me. For a second I thought I failed, because my sentence did not feel correct or smooth. That was the light climax, because I expected him to look confused or disappointed. Instead, the tourist smiled and said, "Perfect. Thank you so much," like my English was enough. He even repeated my direction to confirm, and I understood him, which surprised me in a good way. I laughed a little and corrected one part with a gesture, saying, "Left, yes, left, to be clear." He smiled again, not judging me, and his friendly face gave me confidence right away. In that moment, I realized people don't need perfect English, they need clear help and good energy. Before he left, he said, "Your English is good, keep practicing," and those words stayed in my mind. I felt warm inside, because a real conversation had happened, and I did not run away from it. Walking out of the coffee shop, I noticed my shoulders were relaxed, not tight like before. I told myself, I did it, and it felt like a small door opened in my life. For the first time, English did not feel like a wall, it felt like a bridge to real people. The next day, I went back to the same coffee shop, not because I needed coffee, but because I wanted to feel that courage again. I kept thinking about the tourist's smile and how my simple English was enough to help him. While I waited in line, I practiced in my head, "How can I help you?" and "Where are you going?" Then I saw him again near the window, and he waved like we were already friends. He said, "Hey, I'm going to the museum now. Do you want to come with us?" For a second I thought he was joking, because nobody invites me like that in English. But he introduced two friends who were traveling with him, and they looked friendly and excited. My fear tried to return, because spending more time in English sounded scary and risky. Still, I remembered my promise to be brave, and I also felt curious about their world. So I said, "Yes, I would like that," and my voice sounded more confident than I expected. On the way to the bus stop, they talked about their trip, and I listened for words I knew. When I didn't understand, I asked, "Can you say that slowly?" And they did, without any problem. I used short sentences, but they understood me, and they even taught me new words like ticket and schedule. At the bus stop, I helped them buy tickets, and they thanked me again, making me feel useful. I noticed English was connecting us, like a bridge that let us share the same day. Inside the museum, one of them asked me questions about my city, and I tried to answer with simple ideas. I pointed at art and said, "This is from a local artist," and I learned the word painting in a real moment. They asked about food, and I said, "You should try street food," and they wrote it down on their phone. I felt proud, because my English was not only for study now, it was for real life and real people. That was the big change. English could open doors to places, conversations, and even new friendships. Before we said goodbye, the tourist gave me his contact and said, "If you ever visit my country, message me." He also told me about a free English conversation group that meets near the museum on weekends. I saved the information and felt a strong reason grow inside me, stronger than fear. I decided I would practice more, not just with apps and notebooks, but with people and real situations. Walking home, I smiled, because I knew this was only the first door, and more could open if I kept going. A week after the museum day, a real test appeared when my teacher announced a school presentation in English. We had to speak for 3 minutes about a topic we like, and we could not read from paper. As soon as I heard that, my stomach tightened, because I remembered how I used to freeze. I imagined the class looking at me, waiting, and I felt that old fear trying to come back. Still, I also remembered the tourist's smile, and I told myself I could be brave again. At home, I prepared my topic, soccer, because it is simple and close to my life. I wrote short sentences and practiced them out loud, trying to sound clear, not perfect. Sometimes I messed up and said words in the wrong order, and I wanted to stop. But then I remembered how the tourist understood me even with mistakes, so I continued. I also practiced asking for help. Can I start again? And can you repeat, please? On the presentation day, my hands were cold and my mouth felt dry, like it always does. When the teacher called my name, my legs felt heavy, and for a second I almost sat back down. I stood up anyway, took a breath, and looked at one friendly face instead of the whole class. I started slowly. Hi, my name is, and I want to talk about soccer, and my voice shook. Then I kept going, because stopping would make fear win, and I didn't want that anymore. In the middle, I forgot a word and my mind went blank for a moment. I felt the freeze start, but I remembered the coffee shop moment and the museum conversations. So I used a simple way to continue, saying, I don't know the word, but it means, and I explained with easy words. Some classmates nodded, and that small sign helped me keep my rhythm and calm my breathing. I made a few grammar mistakes, but I still communicated, and that was the goal. When I finished, the room felt lighter, and I heard a few claps even before the teacher spoke. My teacher smiled and said, "Good job, you communicated clearly," and I felt proud and relieved. I sat down and realized something important. The big test did not break me. English was still hard, but now I had proof that I could speak in real moments, even with errors. Walking home, I felt grateful for that unexpected meeting, because it gave me courage when I needed it most. After the presentation, something changed in the way I saw myself, and it felt like a new chapter started. I was still the same person, but I was not the same speaker, because I had proof I could do it. Even my classmates treated me differently, asking, "How did you get better?" with real interest. I told them I practiced small sentences and spoke anyway, even when I felt nervous. Saying that out loud made me realize I was becoming stronger, not only in English, but in courage too. That weekend, I went to the conversation group near the museum, like the tourist suggested. When I arrived, I saw people from different places sitting in a circle, talking and smiling. My first instinct was to leave, because a group in English sounded scary again. But I remembered the coffee shop moment, so I stayed, sat down, and said, "Hi, I'm here to practice." They welcomed me, and the fear in my chest started to shrink little by little. During the meeting, I made mistakes, but nobody laughed in a bad way, and that was a big relief. If I said a word wrong, someone helped me, and I repeated it, and we moved on. I learned new phrases like "I mean" and "Can you explain?" because I needed them right away. The more I spoke, the more natural it felt, like my tongue was learning a new path. I noticed that communication is not about perfect grammar, it is about connecting and trying. After the group, one person told me about a small volunteer event for visitors in my city. They needed someone to help guide people, answer simple questions, and show directions. I felt nervous again, but this time the nervous feeling came with excitement, not panic. I said yes, because I wanted to use English in real life, and I wanted to grow faster. That was when I understood English was not only a school subject, it was a key that opened doors. Walking home that night, I thought about how I almost quit and how close I was to giving up. One unexpected meeting turned into a real chance, and that chance turned into new confidence. Now I know mistakes are normal, and every mistake is a step that teaches me something useful. I still have a lot to learn, but I feel motivated because I can see the doors in front of me. And this time, I am ready to keep learning, keep speaking, and keep opening new doors.